not. Because that which is not cannot be seen, heard, smelled, touched. One who realizes that also we hold as Shiva. Because one who realizes that becomes the doorway for that. See, when you say my home, if you think of, oh, I'm going home, you're not think of all the rooms and bathroom and toilet and back door and kitchen, no. It's a front door, which is your home. When you arrive, this is my home. You're pointing at the front door and saying, this is my home. So the door is very important. So one who becomes the doorway for that which is not, we call him also Shiva. So this pursuit, what is the point? The point is this: if you know the nature of the source, if you have the time and inclination, you know the nature of everything. If you know something, you will know only something. But if you know nothing, then everything is possible. So this pursuit is the basis of this civilization. This is a land of seeking, not a land that believes. This is a godless land. There is no the God anywhere. As I have told you many times, we know the technology of God-making. Well, there are words like this, we say call something Bhagwan. You must understand the Bhagwan. The word Bhagwan comes from the root word bhaj, which means that you look up to, that you revere, that which is glorious. So if a human being or a tree or a mountain looks glorious to us, we say Bhagwan. Because it's worthy of my reverence. Anything that deeply impacts you becomes your Bhagwan. When we say Bhagwan, we are not talking about the God sitting up there in heaven who knows how to manage everything here. No. If you look back at the history of this planet, you obviously know God doesn't know how to manage things. Hello? Are you willing to hand over your life to God and say, do it the way you want? No. Things that are not in your hands, you're willing to give it to Him. Things that are in your hands, your money, throw it in front of the temple and go away, let me see. No. What you don't have, of course. Lot of people come to me also and say, Sadhguru, usir kuduthruve Sadhguru. Ayyo, usir uduvendappa. That means I'll give my life to you, Sadhguru, right now. Hey, don't hold it, huh? Hold it. If you hold it there and then give yourself, then I know how to use it. If you give it away, what do I do? So, this is not that kind of civilization. This is a civilization of exploration. And whichever way you explore, it is regarded well. You may explore in a very stable, proper manner, or you may explore in freaky ways. Whichever way, as long as you're seeking, in this culture it's okay. There are very systematic disciplines in the country, in this land. At the same time, there are absolutely wild ways. There are agouris, there are tantrics, there are variety of people. Because nothing is a taboo as long as you're seeking. As long as your intent is to touch the core of life that you are, knowing that the core of life is not somewhere in the center of the galaxy. The core of life is in every life. Whether you're a man, woman, animal, even if you're an ant, The core of life is within you also. All you have to do is find it. All you have to do is find access to it. You don't have to invent it, you don't have to make it up. You just have to find access. Life cannot be happening without the source of life throbbing inside, otherwise it will not happen. So today, human intellect is not yet but definitely far more active than what it used to be 500 years ago or 300 years ago or even 100 years ago. Becoming less influenced by the dogmas of the times. The dogma can be your religion, the dogma can be the current political ideology that's going about, the dogma can be some local philosophy. At different times, different things have ruled human beings. For the first time in the history of humanity, intellect, the human intellect, is not as ruled by the dogmas of the place or the doctrines of the times as it has been in the past. I believe this is going to be much, much more in the next 15 to 25 years, where human belief systems will become very thin. People only believe to the extent it's necessary. Already it is so. Hello? Only to the extent it's necessary. Rest is all in your hands. You don't trust anybody. Well, I'm not encouraging that, but it's a good beginning. That you understand, somewhere you understand, unless I handle this life well, it won't work. This means you understand my life is my karma, you're becoming a Hindu. So, you must understand Hindu is not an ism, Hindu is not a religion, Hindu is not a particular way of life as people are trying to define. Hindu is a land. Because of the land, people became Hindu. Because of the people, the civilization became Hindu. Because of the civilization, the nation became Hindustan. So, this needs to be understood that if you release human intellect, as I said earlier, from the influence of fear, from the influence of guilt, from the influence of extreme greed, you will become a Hindu. Or Hindu, maybe in your mind, the context is very small, it's a particular type of people. No. So let's put it this way. It is called Sanatana Dharma. The word Sanatana literally means eternal. Dharma means not religion, dharma means the law. So the eternal law, what is the eternal law? See, as we sit here, you and me are different. Well, they will bury me or burn me much earlier than you, all of you are much younger to me, but even after 100 years, if they bury you, you also become the same thing that I have become. Now the aspiration for you to become what I have become, that's a different thing. But when everybody is put back, everybody becomes the same thing without any problem. So the realization that everything comes from the same thing, will it happen to you with death or now? There's a big difference. If you're aspiring that it should happen now, you are a Sanatani. You're aspiring for your eternal nature. That means you are the Sanatana Dharma, not as a religion, not as a philosophy. You are in tune with the eternal laws. Only if you are in tune with the eternal laws, the limitations of this manifestation, the individual manifestation, has many limitations. These limitations you will suffer endlessly. No matter how endowed you are, you still suffer. No matter what you become in your life, you will still suffer because you are identified with the manifestation You are not searching for its source. You have not found access to the fundamental nature of its existence, which is its eternal nature. Now, am I propounding, oh, there is something eternal within you, you are a soul and this will happen, that'll happen? No. I'm saying, you understand, you gather the body and you shed the body. Once you realize this, there is enough intelligence in every damn head here to seek, what is this about? Okay, I gathered this and it's going to go one day. What is this about? Because this is not unreal, this is true. Your existence is true. These days, technology people are trying to look like sages with long hair, knotted, dreadlocks, you know, they're all trying to look like sages. It's a good trend. They're trying to look like the Hindu sages of the past. So essentially, a totally godless, philosophy-less, immoral is not the word, amoral. No morality, no commandments, no God, no philosophy. What kind of lousy people will they be? That means you don't trust the intelligence of creation. You think creation will be good only if some fools manage it. No, creation is good without management. It is just that once, as I said, if human intelligence is not encumbered with these imposed values of fear and guilt and greed, which is encouraged all the time, naturally this will seek its eternal nature. So what you call as the Hindu civilization, or better that we call it Sanatana Dharma, is a consequence of fearless, guiltless, greedless human beings. So, it is not because of Hindu way of life they became like that. Because they were like that, this is the consequence. This civilization is a consequence of that. But as all of us know, in recent history, in this land when we say recent, we are saying 1,000 years ago. In recent history, it has been ravaged like no other land. Probably most of you do not know, because those who wrote our history books and textbooks, they wanted to be nice to you, so they eliminated all the ugly parts of our history so that we may once again walk into similar situations. But the land has seen, the people have seen enormous atrocities which are way bigger than anything that is normally talked about in the world. The greatest things that we talk about in the world is how Africa was subjugated by the Europeans and how Adolf Hitler did what he did in pre-World War II times, and what happened in North America to the Native Americans. But what happened in this land, both in numbers and quality of torture, much more. But this is the only land, after 1,000 years of extreme torture, we still retained our way of being. This is simply because of the way the entire thing was naturally structured. Because it was not a religion, there was no one head, that if you cut that head off, everything will collapse. There was no one doctrine, there was no one book, if you burn it, everything will be gone. Because it was individual seeking. The invaders who came, they did everything possible. They killed all the leaders, religious teachers, they ravaged thousands of temples, but they didn't know how to kill it because it was in everybody's hearts and minds. You cannot kill that one. Because it was not a philosophy that could be corrected. It was not a belief system that could be obliterated. It was a natural longing to know. There is no way to curtail that. As I said, I'm repeatedly saying this, if you free this mind of fear, greed and guilt, this will naturally seek its eternal nature. Because of thousands of years of establishing that kind of thing, doesn't matter how much torture, it still lived. This is the only land which has been invaded with the vengeance or with the force with which it has been invaded, still retained its culture to a large extent. Damages happened, but it retained because this is not the culture which is organized. It is unorganized kind of chaos, intentional chaos, because you can't destroy a chaos, you can destroy a system. Hello? You can destroy a system, but you can't destroy a chaos. So it doesn't matter what they did, it survived. A lot of people are writing books today around the world, many American and European writers, they're amazed how this culture survived. How did it survive? What is the basis? Where is the foundation for this? No foundation, that's why it survived. Because the foundation is in our evolution, the foundation is in the nature of our existence. The foundation is not in what we organized as human beings. It is not a church, it is not some kind of organization, it is not… There's one leader that if you kill him, everything will collapse. Do what you want. You don't even know where it exists, but it exists. So, if we do this one thing, if we do this one thing in this generation, that in the world, it's beginning to move that way, but I would like to see it in my time. If we move the society, if you move the world's population in this direction, they are free of fear, they are free of guilt, and they are free of greed. You will see Sanatana Dharma will sprout across the planet. This you must understand, Sanatana Dharma does not mean all of them will chant your mantra or all of them will do this, no, all of them will seek. That's all that matters. Which way they seek, we don't care. Hello? We don't care how they seek, as long as they are seeking their eternal nature, as long as they're seeking their ultimate possibility, we call them Sanatani. Because Sanatana does not mean a particular group of people, Sanatana means eternal nature. So, what is Hinduism? There is no such thing, there is no ism. People are trying to make it into a ism for survival purposes, unfortunately. But I don't fear survival, I only see a metamorphosis. Many people think I am not Hindu enough because I don't know I'm not doing any puja, I'm not doing any mantra, I'm not going here and there and doing what a Hindu is supposed to do. You say, what kind of a Hindu is he? Well, because I'm born in this land, in terms of geography, I am a Hindu. Because my longing has always been to know the eternal nature of who we are, and because of that I am a Sanatani, not because I subscribe to any of their philosophies. I want to see every human being looks for that which is the ultimate nature of who we are. Then everybody is a Sanatani, but don't think they are converting to your religion, because there is nothing to convert to. There is no ideology, there is no philosophy, there is no God, there is no God's army for you to convert and join. It's just that from its manifestations to its source, your attention has shifted from the manifestation to its source. This means you're a Sanatani, because manifestations are always transient. It's like a footprint. It'll be there today, it'll be gone tomorrow. But the source is always there. So once your interest has shifted from the body to the source of what it is, you have become a Sanatani. You're seeking the eternal nature. This must happen to the world, not as a religion, not as a philosophy, but as a natural longing to know beyond what is right now manifested, because manifestations are many and fantastic. But if you get identified with the manifestation, then you will become so small that… See, largely human beings don't even consider other lives as life. Only human is life. But now in that also, in 21st century, we've come to a place where we're beginning to think men and women are two separate species. Hello? We don't think we are the same species anymore, we are different species. Because everything you have to say, both. But now there are many other species. I'm not saying this with any disregard for anybody, I'm just saying we are unnecessarily complicating a simple process of life. First of all, biology is a simple thing. Its purpose is very simple and limited. We don't have to complicate the biology. See, when we say, you are a Sanatani, this does not mean you're disregarding the biology or the psychology of a human being. We are not going away from it, we want to be above it, that's all. Is it worthwhile? Yes. We are not talking about discarding it, we are not talking about moving away from it. We want to be above it so that we can use our biology and our psychology the way we want, that our biology doesn't use us up. But for most human beings, their biological needs and psychological needs are occupying the whole time of their life, isn't it? They don't get to settle their biology or psychology for their entire life. If they live to be 100, they're still desperately doing the same things. So, Sanatana means this, that you're above the manifestation of physiological and psychological manifestations that we have, and that goes for every manifestation. But your biggest blocks are your own body and your own mind. If I take you to a place, let's say we took you to the greatest, most sacred place in the universe, there are steps. But you misunderstood steps as blocks. What to do? Tragedy you are, isn't it? Hello? Right now, that's all that's happened. This body, this mind, this level of cerebral capability, these emotions, these energies, this chemistry, these are all stepping stones. But you're right now experiencing them as blocks in your life. They're blocking you completely. Life is getting mortgaged just to settle physiological needs and psychological needs. You can call it what you want, you can call it religion, you can call it family, you can call it marriage, you can call it whatever. But essentially, life is getting mortgaged just to settle physiological and psychological needs. These are stepping stones upon which you should stand and climb and go beyond. But unfortunately, they have become sinking sands. So the moment you make your body and mind into a stepping stone and stand above that, you are a Sanatani.